We are on our May We Thank You tour. I want to say thank you very much as we are here in Berrien Spring Post 85. Thank you to Boss Services, Raising the Standard, who are giving us the opportunity to have our conversations here. And I want to say thank you as well just to some other patriotic partners that we have here too. Pratt Intermodal Chassis, Campbell Ford Lincoln Saleen and Niles, Starks Family Funeral Homes and Cremation Services, Full Circle Cafe in Stevensville, Grapevine Nursery, Boss Concrete, Cassopolis Family Clinic Network, Lakeshore Public Schools, Medic One Ambulance, which I think I just heard Medic One Ambulance going by here just a little bit ago, did we? We also have to say thank you to Adent's Landscape Supply, Hartlines, also Mel's Cafe, Southwest Michigan CBD, just up the road, Pristine Pool and Spa, and St. Joe Monument Works. So, Vern, I want to make sure I check in with you here as you are our next veteran that we're going to talk to. What does it mean to you to have businesses like that long list that support veterans that actively say, you know what, this is something we're passionate about?
I think it is wonderful that people do help support. And even as a veteran, I feel myself that I feel like I should be doing more for today's veterans. But anyone that supports a veteran, I just had a guy buy me a drink here at the bar. And he says he never served, but he says, I see you did. And he says, please take a drink for me.
That's awesome. And you said, I will.
I will.
I will.
You bet.
That's great. You know, this is not yours and my first time having a conversation, and I'm grateful to have you back here. So, Vern, to those who maybe don't know you yet, give us a rundown. Where did you serve? What branch of military did you serve?
Okay, I was in the Army, and I took my basic and AIT advanced training all at Fort Lewis, Washington. And we knew kind of at that point we was near the border there, the western border. And on September 21st of 1966, we sailed out of Puget Sound on a 21-day trip to Vietnam.
Yeah, and that trip was one that life-changing would be the understatement of the century.
We grew up a lot. We got a lot older in that year I was gone.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your service when you were there. You and I had some conversation here off the air, and a lot of the information that you told me, some of it I've heard before, but some of it was also very new. So for those who maybe are watching this on Facebook, for those who are maybe listening to this on the radio, give us a little bit of an idea of what it was like for you going over and serving and some of the things you learned.
Well, I was a mechanic, and we was mechanized infantry. So we got to ride where we went, and most of the time out on missions, we was in the APC M113 personnel carriers. And it was like a small tank, not very well fortified, but it beat walking for sure.
Sure.
But it did get us into some battles where we helped a lot of other people out, ground units and artillery units that were embedded and needed help.
Mm-hmm. You made mention to, obviously, the goal was to, I don't want to say goal because that seems like such an odd way to put it, but some of the things that we're trying to do when we were having our military over there was to try to prevent the spread of communism and give people the opportunity to live better lives. Yeah. How has that followed you to today with maybe your community and maybe some people that live around you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we didn't think we really done a whole lot until I got home and met my neighbor who is from Singapore. And he had found out that I had fought in Vietnam. And he shook my hand very graciously and gave me a hug and told me, he says, you probably don't realize it, but you did keep our country from going communist. And when I went to the wall I got an honor flight to Washington, D.C. Just last month. And when I went to the wall and I seen two friends that I graduated high school with, and the gal there was Asian. I didn't catch what country she was from, but she told us, she says, you didn't lose a war, Congress did. Says, but you did more for the world than you probably ever know.
Hearing words like that, how did that hit you? How did you react?
Ha! I broke down.
Vern, you were one of my favorite people I talk to every time that we have a conversation, because your heart's huge, and I'm going to start tearing up too. So I apologize for this too. Having that realization of the impact that you had on the world, you actually were able not only to do the honor flight, but you actually were able to go to a reunion. And I would love, if you have the availability, if you can bring that. That I don't want to say keepsake because that's a strange way to say it, but that baggie that you had that you showed me, I'd like to show that on Facebook to kind of, I didn't have you tell and explain what that was. What did they hand out to you?
Well, it was the 55th reunion of the Battle of Sioux Tree, and it was a very large battle that where he was in. That happened to be finally known as the largest one-day enemy kill of the entire Vietnam War. But this is the first reunion I've ever gone to, and one of the guys I met was from my unit. That I did not know him, but he's from a different company. And he told me that I was with your high school friend, Dave Burkholz, at the time when he was shot. And then Dave died 2 days later. And then he also told me, he says, I was in the ground unit. He says, I was there at that Battle of Sioux Tree when you guys broke through with your personnel carriers, your mechanized infantry. And if you wouldn't have been there that day, he says, I wouldn't be alive. And so I got a big hug from him.
When you were serving, I can't imagine that you realized at that time the heroism that you and your group and every Vietnam veteran showed at that time.
No, never at all realized that. We was just doing our job.
It is an honor to speak with you. I'm proud not only to be able to have the conversation with you.
It's been a great year.
Yeah.
This year's been a super year.
Yeah, and you've got the shirt as well as symbolism of your service as well, and in that battle that you spoke about. For those younger individuals who might be hearing this, might be seeing this, that don't really fully understand the Vietnam War and what it was like for you to go through there, what do you have to say to them to help them?
Well, we didn't win the war, but we never we never lost a battle. And we won every battle. You don't love me any less. So it wasn't us that lost the war, but in talking with this Asian gal, that we done a lot more for the world that we will never know. And other countries that we kept the communists busy long enough to keep them as a free country. Mm-hmm. And that means the world to me now.
Yeah. You are a hero. I am grateful for the opportunity to speak with you, and I look forward. I know that we've had this conversation, but I'm already looking forward to continuing our conversation here in a little bit as well. And on behalf of everybody, every one of our sponsors, to you, on behalf of myself, thank you for your service. I appreciate you so much.
You are very welcome.
Awesome.
The country's welcome.
Awesome. Vern sharing his story of his service in Vietnam, serving our country. That's what the May We Thank You tour is all about. Couldn't think of a better conversation to have to wrap up our tour this year for the Berrien Spring Stop. So thank you to our veterans. If you are a veteran, thank you for your service as well. And if you see a veteran, shake their hand. They're always wearing their hats. They're always wearing shirts that showcase the branch of service that they served in. All you have to do is say, hey, thank you for your service. And that's all you have to do, but it means the world to our veterans that we recognize them, especially Vietnam veterans such as Vern. So we appreciate you very much. Thank you again to our patriotic partners that I want to make sure I highlight one more time, because again, there are a lot of them that care and want to showcase how much they appreciate their service as well. Boss Services, Pratt, Intermodal, Chassis, Campbell, Ford, Lincoln, Saleen, and Niles, Starks Family Funeral Homes and Cremation Services, Full Circle Cafe in Stevensville, Grapevine Nursery, Boss Concrete, Cassopolis Family Clinic Network, Lakeshore Public Schools, Medic One Ambulance, Adent's Landscape Supply, Hartlines Garden Center, Mills Cafe in Southwest Michigan CBD, Pristine Pool and Spa, and St. Joe Monument Works. We are wrapped here at about 6 o'clock. You still have time to come by and get your T-shirt. 100% of the donations stay right here at the American Legion, Post 85